Not all social media platforms are created equal, and some are a complete waste of your time if your goal is selling more books. And today we're going to break down what each major platform really does for authors in 2026, what it doesn't, and how to focus your energy to get real results. Plus, for each platform, I will give you a little known insight and some contrarian advice. Let's get right into it. Welcome back, authors. My name is Brian Burney, and I run Book Ads, which is a book marketing agency. If you want to know more about what we do, just check the description below and there will be a link for you to check out. So let's start with TikTok or BookTok. Now, that is all about discovery. You can reach younger audiences and even generate viral book sales overnight, but don't expect deep engagement or long-term loyalty because it's mostly impulse driven. Now, here is a trick. You don't need millions of followers. In fact, TikTok's algorithm is incredibly democratic. So a brand new account with 0 followers can actually go viral on its first video if obviously the content resonates. And unlike Instagram or Facebook, where follow count heavily influences the reach, TikTok prioritizes the content quality and engagement over the actual account size. Now, here are some compelling TikTok success stories for authors. One, I'm sure you know, is the almighty now Colleen Hoover, perhaps the most famous BookTok success story. So her backlist novels from years prior suddenly exploded on TikTok in around 2020, 2021, so in full pandemic moment. And at that moment, It Ends With Us, which is the title of one of her most famous books, became a massive bestseller. So she went from moderate success to actually topping the New York Times bestseller list for, many weeks. And she sold millions of copies. And all of that was actually driven by organic BookTok recommendations. Another success story is Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo became a viral sensation on BookTok years after its initial release, which was 2017. And the book sort of consistently trended on the platform, and it ultimately led to it selling over 1 million copies and remaining on the bestseller list for very extended periods. Another TikTok success story is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, which was published in 2011. And she found new life on BookTok again during 2020, 2021. So videos of readers crying over the ending started going viral, and that sort of created a snowball effect that pushed the book back onto the bestseller list actually a decade after publication. Then we've got Alex Astor, who was a debut author that used TikTok strategically before her book Light Lark actually even released. So she shared word building details, character aesthetics, and started engaging directly with the fans of which became her readers. And the pre-release buzz led to a major publishing deal and actually very, very strong launch sales. And we're going to end this brief list of TikTok sensations with Freida McFadden, because her psychological thrillers, like I'm sure you know, The Housemaid, gained massive traction through BookTok in 2022-2023. So the readers were starting creating dramatic reaction videos and all of that we know on TikTok. And so she went from relatively unknown to consistently topping the thriller charts, and I'm sure she still is there right now. So what are the key patterns in these success stories? What can we learn from them? Well, first of all, that emotional and authentic reader reactions actually perform better than the author's own self-promotion. And also the many were backlist titles that found new audiences years later. So books with highly sort of talkable moments like plot twists and especially emotional scenes spread faster. And ultimately, the algorithm rewarded the genuine enthusiasm over the polished marketing that the author might have organized. So a little known insight for you in TikTok is that TikTok's algorithm favors video completion rate over views, which means that short, engaging videos that keep viewers watching until the end often perform better than flashy viral trends. And as promised, I've got some contrarian advice as well. So don't obsess over trends. Try to create content that aligns with your niche. Funny skits about writing, relatable author struggles, or behind the scenes of your book maybe. And I'm sure you're going to build a sustainable and long-lasting audience that can hopefully propel your book on top of the charts. Hello there, authors. So if you're watching this, I am pretty sure you are going to need a book cover at some point in the future. And what you want is a very professional book cover because, as you know, books are judged by their cover. So what I have for you today is a special discount on 100 covers, which are the leading company in North America for professional book covers. You just need to go to their website and have a look. They do fantastic work. And only for my viewers, they got a very special discount of 30% on their packages. So click the link that you'll see pop right here or up here and type in my special code Brian for your discount. Go check them out. Back to the video. Next on the list is Instagram, or Bookstagram as it were. So Instagram, as we know, is perfect for visual storytelling. So cover reveals, behind the scenes, aesthetic content, but there's a catch. The algorithm prioritizes engagement, not links to buy your book. So even if 1,000 people see your post, very few will click through to buy. So a pro tip for you here is to focus on stories and reels instead of just feed posts that people scroll, because reels have far higher reach and discoverability. And also, sort of authentic real life content often outperforms polished photography and super pro setups. So that tells us that the audience always crave the connection. A contrarian insight here is that micro influencers can actually outperform you as an author. So collaborating with some bookstagrammers with maybe 3,000 to 10,000 engaged followers can yield better results than trying to grow a huge account yourself. Okay, then Facebook. Oh my God, Facebook, there's a lot to say. And we'll talk about Facebook ads in a brief moment. But Facebook, as you know, is great for author communities, local events, and sort of reaching older readers. But organic reach is very, very small. Most posts go unseen unless you actually pay for ads. I'm sure you've noticed this. So there's a little known insight. Facebook groups are, on the other hand, gold for engagement. So if you actively participate in niche groups specifically devoted to your genre, maybe if you're a fiction author, that builds trust and can indirectly lead to sale. But don't obviously spam your links and focus on value first. Now, the contrarian advice here is do not waste time on your personal feed or author page posting daily updates. Even once a week is fine, but instead focus on groups and on occasional paid campaigns, because one well-targeted ad often outperforms weeks of organic posting. So I talked about ads, and there needs to be obviously a little digression here because I am an ads person. And so how do Facebook ads perform for authors towards the end of 2025 and going into 2026? The power of Facebook ads has diminished a little bit because it's been flooded by authors trying to sell books, but it is still good because this is where Facebook actually shines. With organic reach being nearly dead, if you switch to the ad platform, then it's one of the most cost-effective ways to reach readers, especially if you're targeting specific genres or demographics. Now, a few metrics for you. Towards the end of 2025, authors are seeing click-through rates ranging from 1 till 3% on well-targeted book ads, with cost per click, so CPC, that typically are around 50 cents, depending on genre and competition, but they can be much lower. Romance, for example, thriller and fantasy tend to have higher competition and costs, obviously, because they're much more popular, but the niche non-fiction can be way cheaper. So one thing that really works and has been working for a while now is retargeting campaigns, because you show ads to people who visited your website or engaged with your previous content. And these typically perform 3 to 5 times better than cold traffic. And also video ads, talking about 15-30 seconds long videos, so short form, Showing book trailers or authors talking directly to camera actually outperform static image ads. And lookalike audiences based on your existing readers or email list can significantly reduce acquisition costs. And ultimately, series promotions, where you have maybe the first book free or 99 cents with clear funnels to books 2, 3, and beyond, generate better ROI than standalone book ads. Now, little known insight is that Facebook's algorithm has become remarkably sophisticated at finding readers. So rather than manually selecting dozens of interest targets, many successful authors now use broad targeting with detailed creative and let Facebook Ads AI find the right audience. And this approach often outperforms hyper-specific targeting. And the contrarian advice here is don't obsess over breaking even on the first book. This is very, very rare. So successful authors view Facebook ads, and in some cases even Amazon ads, as part of a funnel. The first ad might lose money actually or barely break even, but if it gets readers into a series or onto an email list, or maybe to buy your course, if you're nonfiction, then the lifetime value makes it profitable. So track the full funnel, not just the first sale. Okay, now X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. Now, it is fantastic for networking with other authors, staying on top of trends, sharing insights, especially if you're nonfiction. But it's absolutely terrible, in my experience, for direct book promotion. So threads rarely convert into sales. So what are you to do in this situation? My tip is to use X to establish credibility and join conversations in your niche, a bit like what we said for Facebook groups. So share insights, participate in trends, and sort of engage with other authors, because your followers may not buy immediately, but they will certainly remember you. For fiction authors, it's a little bit different. So X isn't actually ideal for direct book sales for fiction authors, but they can leverage it strategically in several ways. Number one is to share writing process and behind the scenes. Not every author is a fan of this, and not every reader is a fan of reading these behind the scenes. They, just want to get to the story. But some fiction readers love seeing the creative process. So maybe sharing snippets about character development or world building challenges, or maybe interesting research discoveries, especially if your book is backed by actual research. Now, these sort of humanize you as an author and end up building anticipation for your work. Number two is to participate in writing community hashtags. So you can engage with hashtags like writing community or I'm writing, or even genre-specific tags like romance writers or sci-fi authors. And this actually helps you connect with fellow writers and potential readers who actively follow these communities. Another interesting tip I have for you is to try create micro stories or flash fiction. I really believe flash fiction is on the rise. So the limit on the characters that you can use on X are undoubtedly a constraint. So try posting micro stories or sort of atmospheric snippets that showcase your writing style. And these can go viral and introduce you to new readers without feeling like an actual sales pitch. And the last tip I have for you on X is to build relationships with book bloggers and reviewers. This is always very important because X is excellent for networking with book reviewers, bookstagrammers, and book talkers that are on X. So genuine engagement with these influencers can lead to review opportunities and wider exposure. Oh yeah, I've also got a bonus tip, and that's live tweet writing sessions or book events. I've seen this come back a little bit. They were very popular in the past, but now they've come back a little bit. So share real-time updates during writing sprints, virtual book launches, or if you participate in author events, specifically if they are for a specific genre. And this obviously creates urgency and maybe a little bit of FOMO that encourages followers to engage with your content and upcoming releases. Okay, the contrarian advice for X is do not promote every book release heavily on X. I don't think it works. Instead, use it to build long-term relationships. This is obvious for non-fiction writers. So share one compelling thread about your book's journey or themes, and then return to community engagement, because your followers will remember you when they're ready to buy. LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is ideal for non-fiction authors, obviously, coaches or thought leaders, and you can build authority, connect with professionals, and generate leads indirectly, but it's not a place to promote fiction or mass market novels. There's simply no way around that. There's a little known insight about LinkedIn is that LinkedIn posts with educational value and a bit of storytelling or problem solving perform best. And I think that's true for YouTube as well. So people want actionable insights, not self-promotion. A bit like I'm doing here, actionable insights. If you're enjoying this video, click the like button. And contrarian advice for LinkedIn is to treat LinkedIn as a platform for indirect book marketing. For example, sharing your expertise or insights from your book. Just don't push direct sales, build credibility first. And finally, we're back where we started from. So YouTube. Now, YouTube is amazing for long form content, a bit like this one. Book trailers, tutorials, and actually building authority. It does require more production time if you want to produce something really nice to look at, but your content stays discoverable for years and it's always fresh when people find it. So a pro tip here, now this is not obviously a course on YouTube, but create evergreen content, writing tips, book advice, or tutorials that remain relevant when people actually find them. Because you can also repurpose short clips from YouTube as TikToks or Reels on Instagram to maximize reach. Again, when somebody finds your content, might be old for you, but it might be the first time they see it. So contrarian insight on YouTube is do not obsess over subscriber counts. Focus on watch time and engagement, because even a small channel with high retention can drive meaningful book sales over time. Okay, that's it for me today. Now here is the bottom line, actionable. Focus on one or two platforms that fit your audience and especially goals. Track your engagement and conversions, not vanity metrics like, for example, follower count, and try to repurpose content whenever you can. There's various tools that can help you do that. And remember, authenticity and consistency always win over trying to be everywhere. That's it for me. I will see you in the next video.